Welcome, comrades, to Social Justice Warrior News, the place for all things in transition. Sponsored by the Fauci is the Science Foundation, an elite medical censorship and scholarship foundation. Our studio was built on stolen indigenous peoples' lands. Let's get right into the news and our first story about how hard President Biden has been working. Joe Biden is still helping Florida more than any other Republicans or world leaders because he cares. Here is a video when he recently met with Florida Governor 𝓟𝓛𝓔𝓐𝓢𔔔 and thanked her for inviting him to see the climate change devastation. He reportedly told the Florida governor that the policymakers in the White House are considering diverting funds from Ukraine to help them get all the climate change and COVID relief they need. Joe Biden is keeping Florida safe despite them not accepting their responsibility with not fighting climate change. Denying climate change. Imagine that. Let's turn our attention to New York City.
We're talking about potentially 100,000 people going into next year, months away. And we're going to continue to pivot, shift, modify to address the crisis. We never thought we would be at a point where we have to build out the HERCs that we're building out. But with the lack of hotel space, we indicated the number of emergency hotels that we opened. We know that as this crisis continues to grow without help, we're going to have to continue to use the brain power of those who are standing next to me to continue to modify and shift accordingly. And the real challenges that we're having, which is very fascinating, is that as we try to find hotels, I cannot tell you how many council people, local electeds, that are yelling, house people, but saying, not in my district. We can't have it both ways.
This terrible influx of migrants is because of Republican racism. They received 17,000 migrants, and it is expected to cost them $1 billion. Imagine if the Republicans send 100,000. New York City needs federal help. Taxpayer help. Taxpayers should come to the rescue so this doesn't further hurt our economy. These people have constitutional rights to free housing. Meanwhile, in international news, we take you to video footage of the Nord Stream pipeline. Investigators have concluded their investigation. They've concluded that the Nord Stream pipeline likely was targeted by Russia or Russian assets, but suicide has not been ruled out. Apparently, at the same time, all cameras in the area stopped working, and everyone in that area that could have seen anything had reportedly fallen asleep during their guard watch duties. Social media also tells us that any conspiracy theory surrounding the event will not be tolerated on their platforms, and the case is now closed except for suspect interviews. Donald Trump's whereabouts at the time are not known, and Congress is expected to form a fair committee to investigate the incident. It will have 15 Democrats, but will also include and be led by Liz Cheney, just to ensure the committee investigation is fully bipartisan. Liz is expected to step down from the committee when she begins running for president in January 2023. Hopefully they'll find some answers before then. I think we all know who did this. And now I turn your attention to something that's been all over Fox News about EV batteries exploding when water's added to them. After the Hurricane Ian cleanup continues, they still have the right-wing talking points saying that EVs are bad. There have been zero complaints of issues to this station about charging electric vehicles. Even with charging stations being underwater, you should still be safe from gasoline fires. Then there's the right-wing belief that EV batteries explode when they get wet. That's just silly. Only if they get water poured on them directly from firefighters, and this is in the unlikely event of a vehicle fire. No gas means there's very little chance of any fire. Again, this is only caused by right-wing crazies that refuse to fight climate change, which everyone knows causes hurricanes to begin with. California has the best policies and the best weather because of those policies. Now to our tech segment. Bill Gates and his foundation recently pledged $200 million for international digital IDs. This is a great way of identifying people, tracking suspects. Digital identity would protect kidnapping victims. Easily, you could confer your passport status and even could handle your credit cards. What an awesome idea to eliminate all crime and bring about world peace. Bill Gates also has donated $319 million to the media. Bill Gates believes in free press and doesn't want the press controlled by corporate interests and the right-wing Republicans. This is all money well spent. This man is single-handedly bringing about great changes. He has even made a new GMO corn to help feed the world. His partnerships with the World Economic Forum are sure to bring significant improvements in our freedom and culture. I so look forward to getting a digital microchip put in my arm or in my forehead, whichever Bill thinks is most appropriate. Now in our culture segment, Kanye West is now a racist. Analysis has been done by important spokespersons of the black community, such as Joy Reid from MSNBC. She analyzed Kanye and found that he had worn a White Lives Matter shirt and was seen talking to Candace Owens. Kanye has now been deemed to be racist, and there is no word yet on if mainstream media wants us to start canceling Kanye and never purchase any of his products. We will let you know when the corporate press and mainstream media have made their decision. With that, let's learn about some recent changes to math.
Let me start off with 2 words. Made in America. Made in America.
So in this, we see Biden has changed the definition of the number 2. Apparently, it is unpatriotic to count words correctly, and we need to consider that when we use white privilege and racist math. Sources close to Biden are now considering changing the numbers 2 and 3 around to bring awareness and attention to the growing problem of math and how it has always remained rigid and unchanged. If you cannot respect that some words just elude definition and require redefinitioning, then you are likely a conservative bigot. Now to an important legal segment. New laws are being passed in California, including a recent law that will cut down on medical misinformation by disciplining doctors that spread that misinformation. Twitter doesn't have to work so hard keeping the horse-paste people from lying to us because now doctors can have their medical license revoked for medical misinformation. The doctor in this tweet, in fact, tweeted that North Korea had just passed this law about medical information, but it was, in fact, about California and not North Korea. This shows you the extent of the problem on Twitter, and this doctor was found to not be living in California, but we do have hopes that people posting medical misinformation like this will eventually be banned and have their licenses revoked. The extreme danger of medical misinformation should have President Biden passing an executive order making this California law a national one. Our safety is at stake. Now we go to a commercial break. Elon Musk supports hate speech, and Elon Musk is going to buy Twitter. Trolls everywhere. Trolls, trolls, trolls. Bots, trolls, Russian bots. Enemy Russian trolls everywhere. Most speech by the right is violence and violates our rights to not see hate speech outlined in the Twitter Constitution and rules. Hate speech that even now isn't being labeled with a trigger warning. They are a private company. We must protect our rights to control speech harassment. If your Twitter feed is infected on any electronic device, we have the solution. Twitter Anti-Troll Tap Water. This water gets in every corner of your electronics. You'll never have an issue with Twitter trolls again, at least not on that device. Dose it or soak it until the Twitter trolls are gone. Give your device a short timeout. When you return, no trolls on that device. It's wiped clean. No more miserable people taunting you that MAGA hats are warmer than other hats. No more hearing real stats about how liberals have higher rates of mental illness. We know our truths. Facts have no place on Twitter.
Our crystal clear anti-troll tap water is premium. It's the lowest cost anti-troll water on the market. It's fresh from the tap. It's all natural. Nobody likes artificial water. Drinkable by any gender. This water is inclusive. The wettest we could find of its kind. Guaranteed to work on all electronics. You'll no longer need a fire department to hose down your phone with a fire hose. Get yours today. Not responsible for tweets read aloud by others, or when your device has not been properly treated. Waterproof device is not covered by our guarantee.
Well, we've got some great news. Let's Go Brandon Publishing has secured the rights for several children's characters from Disney and Drag Publishing. Now we can bring you your favorite childhood stories, but with modern themes and modern challenges. This new series of books teaches little growing comrades important life lessons about gender identity, equity, and democratic socialism. Our first book in this series has been released. Make sure you pick up Pooh Visits Biden's Pants at the Vatican. They'll learn that diaper accidents happen, even for adults, but soon you'll have your child pooping right while veering left with their politics. Order today. Speaking of other disinformation and financing of right-wing conspiracy theories, PayPal has decided to fine users of the service up to $2,500 per incident of misinformation on any platform they use if they have a PayPal account. PayPal is a social media giant that has many people posting inappropriate political comments and misinformation on their site all the time. Right-wingers use this for banking and donations, and PayPal only serves to support conspiracies and crazy social media posts. Now we just need to get banks and credit card companies to follow suit. The important thing to know here is that PayPal is a private company and can do what they want with your money. If the right doesn't like it, they can always start their own pay service, their own social media company, or even their own bank. Reports are that PayPal didn't mean to publicize the changes, but it is clear they'll sneak these policies in somewhere to keep the conservatives from noticing. That makes good business sense.
And so I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home politically.
Biden was raised Puerto Rican, identifies as such, and we must support him. It is unknown if he will be changing his pronouns, or even if as a younger Puerto Rican is when he met Corn Pop. His wife has a new nickname for him, and she has been lovingly calling him Taco. He is expected to show his love for his heritage by playing Despacito from his phone again at all future rallies. We should all show support for Puerto Rico after this recent hurricane. It's also about time we added the 51st star to our flag to show support for our 51st state. Birthplace of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Our next story is an important health bulletin since COVID is still raging.
Why?
I mean it.
Why?
Right?
Why? Why are you going to call the police?
You're supposed to keep 2 metres apart because the virus is going on at the moment.
I'm in a car.
Doesn't matter.
I'm in a car.
Doesn't matter.
What are you
You
on
haven't
about?
got my problem, okay?
I'm in a car.
So
How
go
am I meant to keep 2 meters in
before I
a
get
car?
my phone out and call the police.
What are you on about?
We cannot overstate the importance of maintaining social distancing, so as not to offend or infect. You don't know how that person feels about their distances from others, if they are medically able to wear a mask or anything about their health. Distancing is safest in public, in vehicles, and at home. Just be safe, comrades. Well, that's it for the news. My hope is that Trump doesn't start a nuclear war, and we will get some extra news coming to us tomorrow. Tune in next time when we discuss why 2 + 2 = 4 is white supremacy and how math has oppressed students since before humans existed. Good evening, comrades.